Hi everyone, welcome to Broad Conversations with Mary. I'm your host, Mary Akinola. I'm excited to be joined by a dynamic individual in the fintech space, who is the co-founder of one of Africa's biggest saving app, Ft.PiggyVest, and also the CEO of Pocket App. Just when I thought he would have a rest, and then he wrote a book, Credit Alerts. So he is Akinola.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
I'm still in disbelief that you're here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome.
This is all related, right?
Okay.
So one of the reasons for this podcast is how to grow and scale your startup, your business, or whatever you have going on with you.
Okay.
So I read something about you that I got expelled from
It
school.
wasn't me. Okay.
And then I knew there was no way you're not going to be successful because it's like a record of a lot of entrepreneurs that I know or innovators that I know globally. They somehow found themselves either they expelled or they dropped out.
So everything happens for a reason, but you can't connect the dots until you've passed the lines. So it's when you actually look back that you'll be able to say, okay, this was actually for my good. So you can't really know that anything is bad or good for you until you passed it. And for me, repeating a year made me meet my current co-founders, right? So that's when I met them. I've always been entrepreneurial. I've always been doing stuff. So that timeline, that gap, helped me to connect with the people I was supposed to connect with and people I was supposed to meet. And a couple of years down the line, even then, you still wouldn't really know. But a couple of years down the line, PiggyVest started, right? This was 2009, right? PiggyVest started in 2016.
So what do you think, or why do you think most businesses fail or don't survive past a short period of time? And do you think timing as well is determinant factor?
Yes. It could be many things. One of the businesses that we had tried to start then was the ride sharing business. What you guys know today as your Ubers and your, all that. But at the time we called it, I can remember it was Giddy Taxi. And what we would do then we would go out to, we just had an idea to make transportation easier for people to order cabs, and so we got a bunch of cab guys, got their numbers. People will call us, we will connect them to the car, we'll put this yellow flag to know that car is our car. So so it was very manual, right? But the idea was there, but because you talked about timing, infrastructure wasn't ready for a business like that to work. Right? A lot of things were still done manually. Payment was still a very big issue, You can't directly communicate with your driver. It was a three-way thing. Yes, we're solving one issue, but there is still so many other problems, right? There's sometimes as founders, you maybe have a baby that you've been building, your passion, but you find out quickly that passion does not always relate to value, right? So you might think, oh, this business is, you love it, you know it very well, but it might not be what the market needs at the time. Funding is also a key thing. You might not have enough money to run a business.
What do you advise an early stage startup to do before going forward and building their product?
What advice would I give?
Maybe in terms of trying to validate their
business, right? One of the biggest, the most detrimental advice that a young business owner or someone else to go into something, can get is follow your passion. Right? And I'll say why. It's good in a way, but like I said before, passion does not always relate to value. Sometimes you just have to do what you need to do, so that later on you can do what you want to do. Alright, sometimes the businesses and the things the opportunities that are open and they're right now might not be the best thing that you want, but it might be something that you know very well and you know parts of it, and that is what is right. But you might want to follow your passion a lot, and you know it's my passion, but you might be stuck there for so long until then you now realize that okay, it might be time to move on. So I would say get a mentor. Right, that's a very good thing to have, because you don't need to learn from your mistakes. You learn from other people's mistakes. The mentor is there to guide you, so you don't make those mistakes too often, because you still make your own mistakes. Right? So your mentor would have told you that this thing that you're doing, calm down. Or do it this way, or so I would say for anybody that wants to start in anything, in any field at all, get a mentor for that field. You have mentors for different things. So get a mentor for that field, get a mentor for general business, get a mentor for this. So you can talk to different people that have, that have been optimized for where you want to get to. And that will really help. So yeah.
Because when you said don't get stuck in your passion, I felt attacked.
No. It's not every passion that. I'm not saying passion is bad. I'm just saying sometimes your passion also could be what is a good business and what is needed now, and what can scale. And if that works out for you, where then fantastic. But a lot of people just get stuck doing what they love when it's necessarily not.
Sometimes you just need to kill them and just know that this is not working. Let's move. I feel fast.
Everything comes to go.
This is watch baby.
Except when money is no longer a factor, what do you think that is shapes why they are still vulnerable to people?
Okay, it could be a number of things. It could be the question is, what product are you doing? What problem are you solving? If it's not the right time for that, or if infrastructure there's really time, not support that idea, or sometimes you don't need too much money. When you have too much money, you don't need it. Somehow it can block Trinity, because if you like, you can try and see. But you see, when the money is not that much, that is, there are no others to manage it. You see, have a 3-4 times before doing one marketing store, so before you go, and that forces you to meet it. Alright, so sometimes too much money can kill you.
The business people are the entrepreneurs. There's a difference. So it could be a number of things.
But I think I'll just hold on to the money. So I think too much money.
Okay.
One of the major reasons why I wanted to have you on board, because there's no better person other than you as a salesperson. No, specifically as a salesperson.
Okay.
And is there a roadmap to scale his startup? Because you failed, and then PiggyVest came on board and is doing amazingly well. And then you took over Pocket App, same story. Now Credit Alert is literally every corner of Nigeria. Can I replicate what you did and have the same results?
I would say that there's no specific roadmap, right? But there are things that you can anchor on. I talked about having a mentor. I talked about learning from other people's mistakes. It's the same thing you can do for business. You want to follow those that have gone before you, especially those that are optimized for the level that you're trying to reach. It makes it easier for you to scale plus. That's what I would do.
Okay. In terms of, I want to ask, before I ask this particular question, right? Have you always had a mentor from the onset, or did something happen at one moment like, no, I need to get a mentor?
So I didn't know it as a mentorship then, right? But I've always kind of looked up to some people for some days, right? How I want my relationship, or how I want to have my family and how I want to relate to my kids, there's always been, oh, this person, I like how this person does this thing, and oh, I like how this person does this. So I always kind of look at what they do. I didn't look at anybody that got expelled. I don't know how I let that one. But yeah, there's, I've always kind of had that. I didn't know it was mentorship then. I didn't know what it was called. But later on, I understood what it was, and I even took it seriously. And I would recommend that for anybody anywhere. That would be the only one advice I'll give. Get somebody that can hold your hand. Get somebody that can open doors for you. Because you cannot grow yourself.
Okay, why I needed to ask this? Well, it's good that you do have one, but irrespective of that, has there, I almost said some mentors might not be correct 100%, but like, has there been like any business related advice that sounds really good, but ended up being a death trap, or didn't seem as good as it sounded? Have you ever like, throughout your days of entrepreneurship, encountered, oh, do it this way, or this should be done this way, or it sounds good to hear, but ended up being like a death trap for you?
If I relate it to the mentorship thing we're talking about now, if a mentor doesn't necessarily need to know everything, most likely will not know everything, right? But they are there to guide you. Right, you go. You might say, "Oh, I have this idea, and I think it's fantastic." And mentor is like, they tried something like this before, but it didn't work. I don't do it. But there are things now that can allow you to go down that route. But because of their own experience, they can't see that, so they might be wrong, or it might be the flip side, right? So it could be anything. So what you want to do is kind of just take bits and pieces of what you think is good. And then, try to relate it to the times that you're in now, and ask questions, always ask questions. So to come to your question, has there been any bad advice?
Or any advice that sounded good?
That sounded good. I talked about passion. I talked about passion, and no people say free your passion.
I keep feeling that whatever you say.
No. I think it's an advice that sounds really good, yeah? Especially for the poor babies. We can do passion projects. But if your passion can be great, it can be the best thing that ever happened to you, right? But it can, if your passion is not, providing value, be quick to put it aside and do something else. The Bible says that something around a man's gifts make it meaning. Right. So you might be gifted at something and it's your passion and you love it.
Looks like I'm going to pastoration.
No, I'm just saying, those things are there. It's in the scripture, so it actually does work, right? But you have to be able to extract value from it. If you already have money, if you have money that you are comfortable with, and your passion is you want to be, you can do it, and you're not really trying to. The value you're trying to get out of there is not more monetary. It's now more satisfactory emotionally, or in any other form. So you can still extract value there. But if the monetary value is not coming out of it, then it's a charity stuff. It's a sorry for using slangs, but it's a charity thing. I just kind of know where you are. So that advice is a very tricky one. And it's not an attack on you.
No.
Passion can be very valuable. Please, the passion can be very valuable.
Why I said it felt like an attack was because I've held on to something for a very long time. And then you mentioned ego. I realized that it might just be me holding on to
it might just be because it's your baby.
Yeah,
you want it. You really genuinely want it to work.
Yeah.
My advice to you there would be fail fast, right? You want to fail as quickly as possible so that you can get to meaning. But if you are failing and you're still stuck there and you're still, there's that question of when should I quit? Am I supposed to quit? Can't I hold on? But at some point, you need to be able to do it quickly so that you can get to the thing that's working. And then when you become, the case and co, you can now do your passion project.
Okay, so let me reference your book right now, Credit and Last, right? And then you would say a lot of things that selling to Nigerians can be very. I almost wanted to reference something on Twitter that's happening right now, where you say Nigerians can love you a lot, and then the next minute, the same people, but I don't want to mention it, which I hope you might know what I'm trying to say. But you said if they explain Nigerian market to a foreign, but they may not understand. I mean, how do you explain you're selling money to somebody, maybe with 30% margin, and then the person is using it or spraying it off just immediately?
Yeah.
How do you explain to an American that this is a market in Nigeria and it may not make any sense to them?
Yeah.
Now, but in terms of selling to Nigerians and as a startup building for Nigeria to start with, because Nigeria is basically the biggest market in Africa. So if you want to make it in Africa, sorry, but Nigeria has to be. What do you think an entrepreneur should focus more on when selling to Nigerians?
I'll say the best thing you can do for any market is to understand the market that you're in. Just because you have in it, like I wrote in my book, does not mean that it will work here and Nigerians will rush your market. But you also said something that I want to point out, and a lot of business people fall into that trap of saying Nigeria is in the biggest market. They look at the numbers, 200 million plus people. You really need to ask the question of, is it 200 million people that can buy your product consistently? Can they buy your product consistently? Not every one of those people are your market, but very, very, very small number is, your customer, your ideal customer. So when they say, Nigeria's the biggest market, that's not the real metric. The metric is how many of those people can buy my product consistently. So that's really what I think a lot of business people need to look at, not just the size of the market. Yes, Nigerians we're a very unique set of people. You need to understand us to understand us is to love us.
During your early stage as an entrepreneur, was there like a skill set or a mindset that you had to run with that kept you going? I mean, it takes a lot to do one, do another one, and then having people around you. Let me use myself as an example, right? I remember trying to do something and it didn't work. Next minute, I said, no, you're a graduate and you went to school, lost your CV, and was there any points that you felt like that? So like, okay, this is not working. I mean, Madonna University is not.
Yeah.
Your CV can, speak for itself.
Yeah. There are many points that you felt like there are many points where you're just like, maybe it's not for me, right? But again, I guess that's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person, right? Entrepreneurs want to take risks. I want to.
Sorry, you just dropped the ball. So let's not move faster.
Okay.
What is the difference between an entrepreneur and a business person?
Yeah. Entrepreneurs have the ability to take more risks. They want to take more risks. Like, I will risk a lot knowing that it might not even work. As an entrepreneur, that's somebody now. I will risk everything knowing that if you know what tomorrow, and then I will do it again. So I guess that's also a mindset that helps. But there are times where you're just tired. you're fatigued. You're human being. You tried and tried and tried. You're like, this is not just work. Now, at that point, do you give up? At that point, do you say, yeah, I'm just
You
going
went to
to
school.
cut my, yeah, you say, I'm going to adjust my CV and go to work. A lot of people do, and I don't blame them. But a lot of times, it's in those very dark, deep moments that you have some sort of eureka, you have some sort of, you see the light, you know. And sometimes some things are just right in front of you, but because you were just all over the place, because you were now settled down, there's nowhere to go but up. You now see, it might not happen like that for everybody, but the ability to keep going is very important. And you mentioned something about people around you. Because I was lucky enough to have partners that are like-minded, we always were talking about solving something. We're always talking about providing a solution to something. That was all we ever talked about. So when something is failing, there's another problem to fix. So we'll do it again. So we might now do it again in another field, in another thing. So that's how it always was. PiggyVest came out when one of our products, which was called Push CV at the time, was dying. We had to go and tell the staff that, hey, everybody, you're going to come to work on Monday. That next month we cannot pay. There's nothing like, yeah. So it was at that time, that came out. I'm saying, okay, we'll risk it again and go again. So it takes some craziness, some madness, but also having the right people around you, who you can drink Gary with together, it helps.
Funny enough, Push CV, don't you think it's time?
Pussy was back then, fantastic product. But again, focus is very important. Being able to, I think you can't do two big things at the same time. One has to be big first, and then you now diversify. That's when you can hold your own. You have deeply rooted. Then you now start. Okay, maybe other things, offshoots, and there's PiggyVest, there's Pocket, there's PVP now. Those things could not come at the same time. There are so many other. PiggyVest is just one of the businesses in the entire group, which is the most popular. But there are different ones now that are beginning to shoot up and stuff like that. So I think you have to be, and when you pick a path, which is financial technology that we take, and we have a vision and we have a mission, everything around what we do has to follow that line. So proceed is part of that. And I'm grateful for that path because all that growth, all that knowledge helped us when the time became right. And since then, we've been able to build a product that has served over 9 million people and still growing 10 years strong, trusted by millions of.
Did you see this happening as at 2016? I mean, when you and your team of co-founders were all together in your home and all.
No, we just wanted to get to next month. It was just maybe when we get to 1,000 users, it's fantastic. Wow, that was big for us at the time. So we just wanted to make sure that when the person presses that button, the money will come, because every user's credit alerts, into Piggy is their future. It's their wedding, it's their car, it's their school fees, it's their house. You get, so building something that was for the people that worked, right, was our focus. That's really what we wanted to do. So that just getting to the next month of it working was heaven. Do you understand? So we didn't see that. Well, we've been doing millions of people now. We're not thinking of that.
Okay. I just have on your own terms, right? What's one advice that you give to an entrepreneur that is either struggling to scale their business or trying to start there?
I would say build a very nice team, because I think I talked about mentorship already, which is my biggest thing. Always follow people who are optimized for the level that you want to be. Always read about them. You don't have to sit with them. You see what they're doing. Everybody's on Instagram and all these things now. There's that, but also have like-minded people, a team with you, the two of you who can hold your hands. Because trust me, there are times where you just be like, everybody push your child. I'm sorry, but you know, there are times where you just be defeated. You just be, and there's those times where you just start your partner, people who can take the next step. You know, people who can don't go into a partnership with somebody that you cannot marry. It's like marriage. Do you understand? It's supposed to be for life. You know. So somebody, a lot of times people look at relationships and say, you know, you want somebody who you can be happy with all the time. But you also have to have somebody who you can be sad with, you know, who you can suffer. People don't talk about that. You need to be good at suffering, and you know, not that when that time comes, you know, now scatter everything and then we're all done. We need to suffer together, we need to grow together, we need to be happy together. So have partners that can do that. That would be my advice for anybody trying to start.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. You had a
Yeah,
great time.
you're like my first guest on this series, and I'm really grateful having you here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for listening. Please do make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And also do listen on Spotify and Apple Music Podcast. That'll be all for now. See you on the next one. Bye.